Okay, so we're recording. Today we're working on our conclusion. So the last 2 weeks, we've done our introduction. We wrote our topic sentence. We wrote our first paragraph. We wrote our second paragraph, our third paragraph, and now we have our conclusion. Anybody know what a conclusion is or have a guess what a conclusion might be? Anybody have a guess what a conclusion might be? You can go and raise your hand since I can't see you. You can raise your hand on the Zoom button. If an introduction is at the beginning, a conclusion is at the what, Charlie?
End.
Is at the end. Thank you, Charlie and Caleb. It's at the end. A conclusion is us wrapping up our story. So the introduction is us introducing our story. A conclusion is the end. It's us wrapping up our story. It's us wrapping up our paper. It's us wrapping up everything into a nice, pretty bow. So what I like to do when I do my conclusion is I like to reread my introduction and then kind of paraphrase my conclusion and kind of say the same thing my introduction did, but a little bit different. So here's my introduction. From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I spent my elementary years attending Chehalem in Aloha. Growing up, I learned the 3 things I enjoy most: my family, my friends, and my hobbies. So that was my introduction. That's how I started my paper. My conclusion is how I'm going to end my paper. So let's think. I talked about my families, my friends, my hobbies. My conclusion is the 3 things that are most important to me are my friends, family, and hobbies. Yeah?
What happens when you're done?
What happened to my what?
What happens when you're done with your catching up stuff?
Oh, if you're done catching up, then you can write your introduction. So if you're done catching up because you've been gone, you can write your introduction. So pick your first paragraph from your brainstorming web that you want to write about. Thank you, Sophia. The 3 things that are most important to me are my friends, family, and hobbies. I know that these 3 things are important to me. And I talked about being a teacher in my first paragraph. Should I somehow bring it back to me being a teacher in my last paragraph? Anybody? Corbin, if I talked about it in my first paragraph, should I bring it back in my last paragraph?
No.
Why not? Remember, I want to wrap it up in a nice, pretty bow. If I want to wrap it up in a nice, pretty bow, should I make my story go full circle? So if I started talking about it at the top, should I bring it back and connect it at the end?
Yeah.
Yes. So the 3 things that are most important to me are my friends, family, and hobbies. These 3 things made me into the person and teacher I am today. These 3 things made me into the person and teacher I am today. I believe I am the luckiest person ever. So I have 1, 2, 3 sentences. Is that good enough? Is that good enough, Logan, to have 3 sentences?
Yes.
Yes, I want to have 3 to 5 sentences in each of my paragraphs. So we're going to call my 3 sentences good enough. So now I've wrote my introduction. I've written my 3 body paragraphs, and I've written my conclusion. What do I do next? Am I good to move to my final copy? Am I good to move on, Bentley?
Yes.
I can just put this, I don't have to do anything else. I can just hop on the computer and type this because it's completely perfect. Or do I maybe have to do something, Cassie? Cassie, what do I maybe have to do? Do you know what I have to do?
No.
Logan, do you know what I have to do?
You have to go make sure you put sentences on you have to go back and
What's that one word? It starts with an E. Logan, do you know what word I'm thinking of?
no.
Charlie, do you know what word I'm thinking of?
Proofread?
I have to proofread for sure. I definitely have to proofread. And when I proofread and I see a mistake, I have to do what? It starts with an E.
Fix it.
Well, I have to fix it, so I'm gonna edit my paper. So I'm gonna proofread my paper, which means I'm gonna read through my paper again and make sure that it makes sense, all right? So our first step is we did our pre-write. We did our brainstorm web. We did our pre-write, and then we did our first draft. In our first draft, it's okay for our first draft to be sloppy, right? Remember my paragraphs didn't all line up. That's okay. Now we're going to revise. We're going to revise and edit our paper. So once you have your conclusion written, I want you to get out a pen that's a different color. Try not to use a marker. You can use a colored pencil, but a pen that's a different color or a colored pencil. I wrote in black and I highlighted in yellow, so I'm getting out a hot pink pen to do my edits in. I want you to get out a color that you like. Logan.
I forgot to put it down.
Oh, okay. Thanks, bud. Once you have your pen of your choosing, we're going to start at the very beginning. We're going to start at our introduction. And the best way to edit a paper is to read it out loud. Why do you think that's the best way to edit a paper? To read it out loud? Anybody have any guesses? Any guesses why that's the best way to edit your paper is to read it out loud? The best way to edit your paper is to read it out loud, because when you're reading in your head, does your voice in your head stop to take a breath? Does the voice in your head stop to make, is it sometimes when we see a word that's spelled wrong, do we just kind of cruise right over it with the voice in our head?
Yes.
The voice in my head does not stop if a word is spelled wrong. The voice in my head does not stop to take a breath. The voice in my head just reads what's on the paper. So when I say it out loud and I have to stop to take a breath, then that's when I have to stop in my paper. The voice in my head also doesn't see when words are spelled wrong, but when I say it out loud, when I go to pronounce it, I can see that it's spelled wrong. Also, when I'm reading out loud, I might say, I might want to add something here, right? I'm going to read my introduction to you, and I want you to tell me if you see anything I should add, okay? And for every time that I stop and take a breath, I want you to follow along and tell me if I have punctuation there. So do I have a comma there? Do I have a period there? Do I have an exclamation point? What do I have? Okay, let's start at the top. From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. How does that sentence sound? Did anybody notice anything that I did? Let me try it one more time. From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Anybody notice what happened there?
No.
Okay, listen one more time. See, did Miss Daniels
breath.
pause or take a breath anywhere? From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
You stopped when you were starting I knew.
I stopped right before I knew. Nice job, Sophia. From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, comma, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Nice job, Sophia. I stopped and I took a little breath right there, so I'm going to put a comma or a pause. I spent my elementary years attending Chehalem in Aloha. I spent my elementary years attending Chehalem in Aloha. What, should I add anything there? When you read that, do you know what I mean by elementary years? What do I mean by elementary years? Charlie.
When you were in elementary school.
Oh, when I was in elementary school. So should I maybe say, Charlie, I spent my elementary school years attending Chehalem in Aloha?
Yes. What's your favorite?
Yeah, I spent my elementary school years attending Chehalem in Aloha. Yeah, that's a good way to change that. So all I have to do is add the word school. I spent my elementary school years attending Chehalem in Aloha. Do you guys know where Aloha is? Do you know, if you didn't know what state I was in, would you know? Would you know where Aloha is? I wouldn't. If I was just reading this paper, I wouldn't know what state Aloha is in. What should I add after Aloha? What should I add after Aloha? Because if somebody who doesn't know me is reading this, are they going to know that Aloha is in Oregon? Probably not. So what should I add, Bentley?
You should add, like, let's say that I was writing the story, but it's my part of the story.
Yeah.
I would put St. Helens, Oregon, but I don't know where Ahia is or where you grew up, so I wouldn't know what state you were in.
Yes. Thank you, Bentley. You don't know where Aloha is. Aloha could be in Arkansas, but it's not. Aloha is in Oregon. And do you see how I don't have a lot of space right here after Aloha? I'm going to write Oregon up here at the very top. And I'm going to draw an arrow. I'm going to draw a little arrow. So I know when I write my final copy, I'm going to add that in there. Okay? This is what I have now. From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I spent my elementary years attending Chehalem in Aloha, Oregon. should I only talk about, did I only go to elementary school?
No.
No, I definitely did not stop school at elementary school. I also went to middle school, and I went to high school, and I went to college. Should I add those 3 things? Because those are important. Right? Those are all important things too. That I went to Mountain View, and I went to Aloha, and I went to Pacific. Should I add those 3 things? Should I add those 3 things, Corbin? Should I add those 3 things, Cassie?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Cassie. I spent my elementary school years attending Chehalem in Aloha. That seems weird that I have a whole sentence just for that. What if I just change my whole sentence around? Let me think about it. Do I need to list off every school I went to? What if I said, instead of I spent my elementary school years attending Chehalem in Aloha, what if I said, I grew up and went to school in Aloha, Oregon? Then I could talk about where I went to college, because I don't have to name off every school, right? Would that maybe be easier to read? The readers probably want to read just a little about me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I don't like that sentence anymore. So I'm going to cross it out. Because remember, this is just a rough draft. I can change things. I don't like that sentence anymore. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to say, I'm going to write it up at the top. I grew up and went to school in Aloha, Oregon. So I added that up at the top. I grew up and went to school in Aloha, Oregon. And then I could talk about Pacific, because where I went to college was not in Aloha. And so all the schools I went to before were in Aloha, so I don't have to list them. I grew up and went to school in Aloha, Oregon. For college, I studied education at Pacific University in Forest Grove, Oregon. There we go. And then I just add that where my sentence was. See how my paper is getting so messy? When we edit things, our paper gets super messy. Let's reread my introduction with our new additions, okay? From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I grew up and went to school in Aloha, Oregon. For college, I studied education at Pacific University in Forest Grove, Oregon. Growing up, I learned the 3 things I enjoy most: my family, my friends, and my hobbies. Does that sound better than what I started with? Does that sound better than what I started with, Logan?
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. Logan, do you think that sounds better than my first paragraph?
Yes.
Me too. It adds a little bit more detail to all about me. There's just one thing that I noticed when I read my topic sentence that I want to fix. Okay, let's see if you can pick up on it. Listen carefully. Growing up, I learned the 3 things I enjoy most: my family, my friends, and my hobbies. Anybody pick up the one thing that I might have missed? It's just one word that I want to add. It's a super small word.
Can you read it again one more time?
I'll read it again one more time. Growing up, I learned the 3 things I enjoy most: my family, my friends, and my hobbies. Anybody think of what I should add? What if I'm going to read the sentence and I'm going to add that word in there, and I want you to see if you guys pick up on it, okay? Growing up, I learned the 3 things I enjoy most are my family, my friends, and my
R.
What word was it? Who said that?
R. It was me,
Sophia.
Sophia.
R. Growing up, I learned the 3 things I enjoy most are my family, my friends, and my hobbies. That sounds a lot better, right? R.
Yeah.
The 3 things I enjoy most are my family, my friends, and my hobbies. Whew. That took some time to edit my first paragraph, huh? That took some time. But does my first paragraph sound better now?
Yes.
I'm going to reread my whole first paragraph to you with all my edits, and I want you guys to tell me if you think it sounds better. From the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I grew up and went to school in Aloha, Oregon. For college, I studied education at Pacific University in Forest Grove, Oregon. Growing up, I learned the 3 things that I enjoy most are my family, my friends, and my hobbies. That sounds a lot better than what I started with, huh? I added way more details, and it's just a few sentences, huh? Who would like some help on theirs?
Me.
Logan, I see that you messaged me. Logan, would you feel comfortable sharing your paragraph with us? Maybe reading it out loud, and we can see if we can, what changes we can make?
So in the beginning, I lost mine and I can't find it and I keep messing up.
Okay, so what step are we on?
The
Our
first
brainstorm?
introduction.
On your introduction. So do you want to read to us what you have right now?
Nothing.
You don't have anything? What's your paper about? Is it about your family, friends, and hobbies?
Yes.
Who has an idea? Anybody have an idea for how Logan could start his introduction? I started mine with, from the first time I walked into Miss Duncan's 4th grade classroom, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Now, obviously, Logan didn't have Mrs. Duncan for his 4th grade teacher, and he doesn't know that if he wants to be a teacher, so he can't have the same one I do. Charlie, what would be a good way for Logan to start his paper?
I was gonna say.
Whoa, we're echoing.
Wow, that's
Are you on
cool.
Corbin's computer?
Yeah.
Can you teach me how to do that?
I just my spider web.
You just finished your spider web?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to start on your introduction too then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can get started on your introduction. And I think a good way for you guys to start your introduction, Charlie and Logan, both of you, is just to kind of start off by talking about you, right? This paper is all about you. So you could start off by saying, I grew up in St. Helens, Oregon. I am the youngest of 3 kids. I am the middle child of 3 kids. Introduce yourself. You can start off with saying, As far back as I remember, I've loved horses. For as long as I can remember, I've loved playing video games with my friends and family. Logan, did that help you at all?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yes.
Logan, do you have any ideas for what you could use for your sentence after hearing some examples?
I'm the middle child.
I'm the middle child. Growing up, I have an older sister, Elena, and a younger sister, Bella. If you have finished editing your introduction paragraph, can you say done in the chat bar for me? You put done in the chat bar for me so I know that we're good to move on. So you've read through your introduction and you've read it maybe out loud to yourself and said, here's what doesn't sound right. Thank you, Sophia, Assumption, Sydney, and Alex, and Cassie.
I have my my paper, and I almost have I'm almost done with my thing, but it's at my mom's because when it was in my binder, so I did some of it while I was at my mom's, and so I'm almost on the editing part.
Okay, so Cole, when you get home, when you go back to your mom's house, I want you to re-watch this video. I'll post it on YouTube.
Use my
Okay, and use it to help edit your paper.
Okay.
Okay, but I just want you to follow along for right now. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. Okay, Cole?
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Cole. Thank you to so many friends saying they are done and ready to move on. Today, we're just going to edit our first paragraph in our introduction. That's it. That's all we're going to edit today. And then we're going to talk some more about point of view. So I'm going to read my first paragraph out loud. And I want you guys to tell me, you can even just tell me in the chat bar if you feel more comfortable with that, one thing that you think I should change, okay? In my opinion, I have the best family in the world. My family includes my parents, my 2 older sisters, 1 brother-in-law, and my niece. In my family, we believe our pets are also family. We have 2 dogs, and I have 1 cat. I believe they are the best family because they are caring and supportive. Tell me in the chat bar, do you think I need to change anything in my paragraph? Do you think I need to change anything in my paragraph? Cassie, you think I should add in kind to my family? Because they are caring, kind, and supportive at the bottom. I like that. My family is very kind. So Cassie says you should add in kind. They are caring, kind, and supportive. Yes, they are. Cole says, I don't think so. I think your paragraph sounds great. I added in that last part, but thanks, Cole. Do you know what the really fun thing is? Is that sometimes our papers are perfect just the way they are. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some friends saying, I don't see any change, Miss Landels. And do you know what that is? That makes our editing process super smooth. In my opinion, I have the best family in the world. My family includes my parents, my 2 older sisters, 1 brother-in-law, and my niece. In my family, we believe our pets are also family. We have 2 dogs, and I have 1 cat. I believe they are the best family because they are caring, kind, and supportive. If I wanted to, I could add in my family's names, right? I could say I have my parents, Troy and Wendy, my 2 older sisters, Courtney and Katie, my brother-in-law, Terrence, and my niece, Kelsey. But that adds a lot more. That becomes a really long sentence. And so I'm not going to add my family members' names. If you want to add your family members' names, you totally can. Go for it. But I'm going to not add my family's names. That's my choice. And I added in, thanks to Cassie, that my family is also kind, because I do have a very kind family. I believe they are the best family because they are caring, kind, and supportive. I made my edits to my paper, and I'm going to stop with after paragraph 1 today. Okay, I'm going to stop after paragraph 1. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to pause the recording because I want you guys to turn your cameras on and show me your paper. Okay, I want you guys to show me your paper. So hold on, don't turn your camera on yet. I'm going to pause the recording, and then I'll tell you guys to turn your cameras on. After that, we'll take a wiggle break because you guys have been sitting for so long, and then we're going to move on to point of view. If you moved past me and you did the whole page, then you're rocking it. Great job, okay? So I'm going to pause the recording now. Okay, so now we're going to talk about point of view. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read the first page of a book. The first page. And I want you guys to tell me if you can tell what point of view it is. Okay, whose point of view are we reading this book through? And it's been a long weekend for me. I might have forgotten what point of view was. It just slipped my mind. Can anybody raise their hand and tell me what point of view is? Caleb, what's point of view?
Point of view is what other people see and not what you see.
Oh, it's what other people see. Can it also be what we see?
What?
Can it also be what I see, though?
Yeah, it can, but not all the times.
What if somebody says that this book is first person? Who's first person? I forgot. Who's first person?
It's
No,
like me.
First person is me. It's from my eyeballs. It's me. First person is me. Who's second person?
You.
He or she. No, you.
You're second person.
You.
First person is
This
me.
person.
Second person is you. Nice job.
Third person is me. Third person is she.
Third person is he. Third person is she.
I remember the rhyme thing. It got
Thank
stuck
you
in my head.
so much. Thank you so much. First person is me. Second person is you. Third person is he. Third person is she. Remember, that was our fun little rhyme. What if it says somebody's name? So it said, John jumped really high. Is that first, second, or third person?
Second.
But are you John?
No.
Third person.
John is a he.
It would be
Third
third.
person. Thank you. So remember, we are going to keep our microphones muted because it's really hard to hear when a few microphones are muted and we're all talking. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to read the first page, and then in the chat bar, I want you to put 1, 2, or 3, and just put your answer one time. And we're going to see if we can tell what point of view the book is written from. Okay, this one is The Stories Julian Tells. We're going to read the very first page. I'm going to make something special for your mother, my father said. My mother was out shopping. My father was in the kitchen, looking at the pots and the pans and the jars of this and that. What are you going to make? I said. First person, second person, third person. Which one is it? Let me read it one more time. Type your comments in the comment bar. I'm going to make something special for your mother, my father said. My mother was out shopping. My father was in the kitchen, looking at the pots and the pans and the jars of this and that. What are you going to make? I said. Is this book first person, second person, or third person? Type it in the comment bar. Nice job, Sophia Semch. Nice job, Cassie. Nice job, Charlie. Nice job, Bentley. Nice job, Corbin. What are some key words to help us learn that this is being told in first person? This is being told in first person. What are some key words? Cassie, how did you know it was first person? You there, Cassie?
She kept on saying my mother, my father, my something.
My mother, my father. Remember, first person is me. That's me, I, my, belongs to me. So this book is being told through first person. It's through the narrator's point of view. The person telling the story is the main character. You said, my father said, my mother was out shopping. My father was in the kitchen. I said, nice job. First person. That one was kind of tricky. Okay, let's try this one. A handful of stars. A handful of stars. Let's see if this one. The only reason I ever spoke to Salma Santiago was because my dog ate her lunch. Sometimes life is like a long road leading from one if to another. If Lucky hadn't slipped out of his collar, I wouldn't have been running across the blueberry barrens in late July yelling, Lucky, no, come, treats! Trying every phrase the dog knew, praying one of them would slow him down long enough for me to grab him. Leash, bacon, go for a ride, cheese! But for blind old black Labrador Retriever, Lucky's really fast. First person, second person, third person. This one's kind of tricky because it said quite a few names, but listen to the first sentence one more time. The only reason I ever spoke to Salma Santiago was because my dog ate her lunch. Charlie, why are you saying it's first person?
Because she said I.
The only reason I ever talked to Salma Santiago was because my dog ate her lunch. If Lucky hadn't slipped out of his collar, I wouldn't have had to go running across the blueberry barrens. Nice job. It's tricky because it said Lucky's name and it was the dog's name and Salma's name and him. But remember, who's telling the story? I am the narrator. So it's first person. That was back-to-back first persons. Now I'm intrigued. Okay, this third one is a magic school bus. The search for the missing bones. Let's see. Oh. What do you think? What do you think that magic school bus is going to be? Put it in your head. Lock it in there. What do you think it might be? I'm going to read the first sentence, and I bet you're going to know. My name is Dorothy Ann, DA for short. I'm one of the kids in Miss Frizzle's class. Maybe you've heard of Miss Frizzle. Sometimes we call her the Frizz. She is a terrific teacher, but strange. Her favorite subject is science, and she knows everything. What is this one written in? Sophia Scott, which one is this written in? Which one, Sophia? You have it?
First.
First person. My name is Dorothy Ann. But then it does get tricky. Maybe you have heard of her before. So it's kind of switching back between first person and second person, huh? It brings you in there. So somebody said second person you. It kind of sneaks you in there, huh? But first person, my name is Dorothy Ann. So Dorothy Ann right here, she's the one telling us the story. But it says maybe you have heard of her before. Nice job. Okay, we're going to switch to a picture book. Let's see if maybe this one can catch us. We've had a lot of first persons. Whoever You Are is the name of this book. Little one, I'm going to read a few pages because there's only a few words on each page. Little one, whoever you are, wherever you are, there are little ones just like you all over the world. Their skin may be different from yours, and their homes may be different from yours. Their schools may be different from yours, and their land may be different from yours. Who is the author talking to? I'm seeing lots of 2s and 3s, seeing lots of 2s and 3s. The author is talking to you, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your land looks like. So what do you think it is, Cassie?
2.
2, wherever you are, whoever you are. Nice job. This one, look at this dog. Some dog. Some dog. George had a good life. When the woman read the newspaper, George had a place to rest his weary head. When the man chopped wood, George studied 1,000 scents of the wind. What are you guys thinking it is? Is it first, second, or third? And when they went fishing, George, who couldn't swim, rode in the middle, steady and still. You're some dog, said the woman. Some dog, said the man. But the other day, another dog arrived. Everything changed. He must be a stray, said the dog. Looks like he's here to stay, said the man. Rut-row, cried George. Which is it? It's talking about George. Corbin, why are you saying third person?
Because it's saying like someone's name.
It's saying someone's name. The author is outside of the story. They're talking about George the dog and the woman and the man and the other dog, but they're talking about George the dog. Nice job, Corbin. This one might give it away in the title. I will never get a star on Mrs. Benson's blackboard. The title might have just given it away. I will never get a star on Mrs. Benson's blackboard. Mrs. Benson gives stars for stuff like spelling or neatness or raising your hand and saying the right answer, not for doodling and daydreaming. One morning when we were doing pluses and minuses, I raised my hand to give the answer. But when I went up and put it on the board, Mrs. Benson said, Rose, I said to add 3 plus 0 and then take away 2. I definitely didn't get a star for math. Logan, you're saying first person. Why are you saying first person?
Because it's I, and I is first person.
I is first person. I will never get a star on Mrs. Benson's blackboard. Nice job. Here's another great book. Moose's Loose Tooth. Let's see what we think this one is. Moose walked into a tree and bumped his tooth. Ouch, he cried. These big teeth of mine are always getting in the way. What is it, first, second, or third? First, second, or third?
Third.
Cole, why are you telling me it's third? Cole says third.
Because they're saying someone's name.
They're saying someone's name. Moose walked into a tree. That silly moose friend of ours, huh? You guys rocked it. There were some super tricky ones in there. It is almost time for our snack break. It is snack time. Here's what we're gonna do.
4 minutes and
Chat bar. In the chat bar, we are going to write one sentence that is in second person. Give me a second person sentence. I'm going to read them out loud, but pay attention. When you hear your sentence, you are free to go to snack break. I'm not going to say your name, so you have to listen for your sentence. When you hear your sentence, you're good to go. Oh my gosh, you know what's funny? 2 people said almost the same sentence, so listen carefully for yours. You are my best teacher ever. So kind. You are the best teacher. Again, so kind. You are nice. Oh, you guys are so kind. Those 3 friends, if those were your sentences, you are free to head to your snack break. Still waiting on the rest of our friends to pass over their sentences. You are awesome. You are the teacher. You're growing plants. That was a good one. I'm trying to grow plants. Nice job, those 3 sentences. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the teacher. You're growing plants. You 4 are free to go.
There's 2 minutes and 43 seconds till lunch.
Oh, thank you, Caleb. You are wise. You tell us not to unmute when you talk. That's a good one. If you heard your sentence, you are free to go, and we'll see you back at 11. You are good and nice. So kind. I love these second person sentences. They're so good.
That was me. Bye.
So kind. Once you hear your sentence, you are good to go.
Okay, Sophie Scott. Oh, goodbye.
Once you hear your sentence, you are good to go. If you've not yet given me a sentence, please give me a sentence and then you're good to go. Remember, we're doing a second person sentence. You are the best. So are you. Thank you. Give me Bentley. Do you have a question, Bentley?
Will you end the meeting?
I'm not going to end the meeting. We'll still be on here, so you're good to stay on if you want.
Okay,
You are the best teacher because that's what I think. Great job. I'm going to stop recording, though, because I think we got all of our friends in here. So I'm going to stop recording, and then we can stay on for a little bit for snack time, okay? So I'm going to stop now.